Let me begin with you here, Keith. You and Ronnie, integral parts of the 1986 championship team, and you said today Davey saved your career in many ways and that he was a joy to play for. I'd be interested to know why that was the case.
Well, it was kind of at a crossroads of my career. We had, in St. Louis, I'd won a World Series, and I now had attained most everything individually, and that was the final piece to win a World Series. And I needed a motivation, and I was a little stagnant in St. Louis, and let's face it, I was not getting along tremendously with Whitey Herzog. I sensed a lot of negativity. So when I came over here, I felt much more appreciated. And to be as an example, everybody thinks because you're, a star player that you can be left alone. You're Joe Confidence, and you don't. Davey, I made a play one time that was a really good play, and came in after the inning, and I'm sitting down the far end of the bench, and he came down to me and sat down and said, you're one heck of a player. And that meant a lot to me. And I told him, I said, bring it on. Give me some more of that. We need a pat in the back, too. So no manager had ever done that to me. So that really is what struck me. He let me be the player I could be on the field. He had my back, and I had his support. And it was a big difference in me. And I had my best years, even though I had better numbers in St. Louis, as far as a few years. And I had good numbers in New York, but I had my best years in New York.
So what impact did Davey have on your career, Ronnie?
Well, it's strange. It's such a sad day, but we're celebrating such a great baseball life as a player and as a manager. How he impacted my career is just the opposite of Keith's. I was just starting my career, and he entrusted me in my first 6 years in the major leagues. He was the manager then. I started over 200 times for his ball clubs. That is the greatest compliment you could ever get from a manager, is he gave you the ball every fifth day. I'll never forget that, and I'll never forget him.
Gary, I'm wondering, because when you started in the radio booth back in the late 80s, Davey was the manager. What about your dealings with him? And when you think back on his legacy, what stands out to you?
I've been through 14 different managers during my tenure with the Mets, and I can tell you definitively that Davey Johnson was the most supremely confident of all the managers that I've been around. He had great faith in himself, and it wasn't an act. He knew more than other people. He was ahead of his time as far as his math skills and his computer skills at a time when computers were unknown in the game. He was right about a lot of things. He felt as though he was right about almost everything, and that's why he butted heads as much as he did with Frank Cashin and with some of the other GMs that he dealt with over the course of his career. But his legacy is this. He managed 5 different teams. He took 4 of the 5 to the postseason, and he had a winning record for all 5 of those teams. He was one of the greatest managers of all time.